My name is Darcy Ingram, and I am 32 years old. 3 days before my wedding, my dad called. It was a Tuesday. I was in my workshop trimming roses for the centerpieces, soil under my nails, playlist on low, and the caller ID said Dad, so I picked up with my elbow because my hands were wet. 6 words. That is all it took. I am not walking you down the aisle. I set the pruning shears on the counter, wiped my hands on my jeans, said nothing for maybe 5 seconds, which does not sound long until you are the one counting. Vanessa says it would upset her, he said. My sister. Vanessa. 3 years older, married, 2 kids, and apparently still the center of every decision my parents make, even mine. Your sister is going through a rough time, Darcy. Her marriage. You know. I did know. But this was my wedding, not hers. 10 minutes later, my mom called to finish the job. Go solo, stop making drama, lots of modern brides walk alone. She said it like she was reading a brochure. 48 hours later, 200 people would turn around when those barn doors opened, and the man holding my arm would not be my father. Welcome back to Calm Drama Stories. This is a place where we share real stories about family, boundaries, and the people who show up when it matters most. Drop a comment and be sure to subscribe. I grew up in Ridgewood, Connecticut. White clapboard houses, leaf blowers on Saturdays, the kind of town where everyone knows your mailbox but not your middle name. Vanessa was the bright one, straight A's, debate team captain, piano recitals where my parents sat front row with the camera. My dad introduced her at neighborhood cookouts the same way every time. This is Vanessa. She is going to be a lawyer. He said it like it had already happened. I was the one who came home with dirt on my knees. I built a greenhouse in the backyard when I was 14, scrap wood from a neighbor's renovation, plastic sheeting from the hardware store, a hinge I pulled off an old cabinet. It stood 7 feet tall, and it was not pretty. But it grew tomatoes the size of my fist by August. That year, my school science fair fell on the same Saturday as Vanessa's regional spelling bee. I entered my greenhouse tomatoes, heirloom seeds, controlled soil pH, growth journal with daily photos. I won first place. Blue ribbon pinned to my poster board by the time my dad walked in. He walked in 40 minutes late. The judges were already stacking chairs. Sorry, kiddo, Vanessa's event ran long. He glanced at the ribbon, nodded, said good job, the way you say it to a stranger's kid at a checkout line. Then he checked his phone. That greenhouse stayed in the backyard for 9 years. I repaired the hinge twice, replaced the sheeting once. My mom called it an eyesore. My dad called it nothing. He never mentioned it again. But it kept growing tomatoes every summer, whether anyone noticed or not. My high school graduation was on a Thursday in June. That same week, Vanessa got her acceptance letter to Columbia's MBA program. My parents decided to combine the celebrations into one dinner at Ristorante Luca downtown. 3 speeches were given. All 3 were about Vanessa. My dad raised his glass. To our Columbia girl. My mom wiped her eyes and said she always knew. Vanessa thanked them for believing in her. I ate my pasta and clapped in the right places. No one mentioned my diploma. I had graduated with a 3.7 GPA and an acceptance to the University of Connecticut's horticulture program. I paid my own application fee from the landscaping jobs I had been running since sophomore year, mowing, weeding, planting beds for 6 neighbors at $40 each. When I told my mom about the horticulture degree, she set her coffee mug down and looked at me like I had said something in another language. That is not a real career, Darcy. 5 words. She said them once to my face and apparently many more times behind my back. Ruth Kellerman, our neighbor 3 doors down and my grandmother Eleanor's closest friend, told me years later that she overheard my mom on the phone with her sister saying the same thing. Darcy is studying gardening. I do not even know what to tell people. Vanessa's MBA tuition was paid in full by my parents, $22,000 a year. I know the number because Donna, my mom, mentioned it at Thanksgiving like it was a public service announcement. My tuition? I paid myself. Landscaping in the summers. Greenhouse work on campus during the school year. Student loans for the rest. Nobody announced my balance at the dinner table. Vanessa married Preston Hale 3 years after Columbia. Investment banking. Charcoal suit at the rehearsal dinner. Cufflinks that cost more than my truck payment. My parents glowed at the wedding like they had personally arranged the stock market. Then the grandchildren came. Lily first, now 5. Owen, 2 years later, now 3. My dad retired from his insurance firm the same year Owen was born, and those 2 kids became the center of his universe. He drove to Vanessa's house in Darien 3 times a week. He built Lily a swing set. He read Owen the same train book 47 times because Owen screamed if he stopped. Vanessa noticed. She noticed the way you notice a lever you can pull. The first time she used the kids was over Christmas seating. Vanessa wanted the head of the table. My dad gave it to her. The second time was about a family photo. Vanessa wanted it retaken without me in the background. My dad asked me to step aside. The third time, I heard it myself. Speakerphone. My dad did not realize I was in the kitchen. If you walk her, I will not bring the kids to Christmas. My dad paused. I could hear his breathing through the phone. Then Vanessa's voice, calm and practiced. I mean it, Dad. It is too much for me right now. You know what I am going through. My dad said, Okay, Nessa. Okay. My mom walked into the kitchen 30 seconds later, saw my face. She knew I had heard. Her response was not an apology. She is their mother, Richard. Do not push her. That was the hierarchy. Vanessa, then the grandchildren, then my parents' comfort, then somewhere below the property taxes. Me. I met Marcus Delaney on a Tuesday in April 3 years ago. I was planting a rain garden for the county drainage project along Route 12. He was the structural engineer building the bridge 60 yards upstream. We both showed up at 6:30 in the morning. We both drank black coffee from thermoses. He saw me hauling a bald root system out of my truck bed and walked over without being asked. Need a hand? I have got it. I know, but my coffee is done and I am bored. That was the first sentence Marcus ever said to me that was not about drainage grades. Our first date was a nursery tour and then tacos from a truck in the parking lot. He had dirt on his boots. I had dirt on mine. It was the most natural evening of my life. He introduced me to his dad 2 weeks later. Frank Delaney, 63. Retired carpenter. Hands like leather gloves someone left in the sun too long. He lived alone in the same house he had built with Marcus's mom, who died of pancreatic cancer 8 years earlier. There was a workshop in the back with sawdust on every surface and a radio tuned to a classic rock station that I am not sure he ever turned off. Frank called me kiddo by week 3. By month 2, he had built me a bookshelf for my workshop. White oak, sanded smooth, dovetailed joints. He carved my initials on the inside of the left panel, D.I. Small enough you would miss it unless you knew where to look. I run my fingers over those letters every morning when I open the shop. You got dirt under your nails, he said the first time he visited my greenhouse. Good. Means you built something today. Nobody in my family had ever said that to me. Marcus proposed in the botanical garden I designed for the Ridgewood Public Library. It was an October evening, and the Japanese maples were turning that deep burgundy that makes people stop their cars. He got down on one knee next to the stone bench I had set into the path 2 summers earlier. I said yes before he finished the question. That night, I called my parents. My dad picked up on the 4th ring. I told him. There was silence for about 3 seconds. Then, congratulations. Not, I am happy for you. Not, tell me everything. Just the word you say when a coworker announces their promotion. My mom took the phone. Is he from a good family? She did not ask if I was happy. She did not ask about the ring, or the garden, or the evening. She asked about his family the way she might ask about his credit score. He is, I said. His dad is a carpenter. Silence again, the kind where someone is choosing not to say what they are thinking. I sent the wedding invitation by hand. I designed it myself. Botanical illustrations along the border, pressed fern on the inside flap. I drove it to their house and left it in the mailbox because I did not want to watch them open it. I also asked my dad to walk me down the aisle. He said yes. Quickly, almost reflexively, like someone agreeing to hold a door. Marcus said what he always says, when I give my parents a chance they have not earned. He put his hand on my knee and looked at me with those steady brown eyes. You know who they are, Darce. I know, but I want to give them one more chance. He nodded. He never tells me what to do with my family. He just makes sure I have somewhere soft to land afterward. The call came on a Tuesday evening, 3 days before the wedding. I was in the workshop, trimming the last roses for the centerpieces. 14 arrangements, each one hand-tied. The radio was playing something with a fiddle and I was humming along when the phone lit up on the workbench. Dad. I wiped my hands on my jeans and picked up. Darcy, I need to tell you something. His voice was the one he used when he was about to deliver bad news to a client. Steady but detached. Professional avoidance. I am not going to walk you down the aisle. The pruning shears were still in my other hand. I set them down slowly, the way you set something down when you are not sure you can hold it without breaking it. Vanessa says it would upset her. Dad. Vanessa is not getting married, I am. She says seeing me give you away would be too painful right now. Her marriage is going through a rough patch. You know that. So, my wedding day is about her feelings. Silence. Long. I could hear the television in his den. Some game show. I am sorry, Darcy. I did not yell. I did not cry. I asked him one question. The only one that mattered. Did Vanessa threaten you with the kids again? More silence. Then his voice dropped lower, as if someone might hear. She said if I walked you, she would not bring Lily and Owen to Christmas. There it was. The lever. The same lever she had been pulling for years, and he had been folding to every single time. His grandchildren traded for his daughter's wedding day, and he chose the trade without blinking. Okay, Dad. Darcy, please understand. I said okay. I hung up, set the phone on the workbench, picked up the shears, finished the 14th arrangement. My hands did not shake. I wanted them to. Shaking would have meant I was surprised. I was not surprised. I was just finally done pretending I might be. My mom called 10 minutes later. Right on schedule. Donna Ingram does not leave loose ends. Your father told you. Yes. Darcy, do not make this bigger than it is. Go solo. Lots of modern brides walk alone. It is actually quite empowering if you think about it. She said empowering the way someone says organic when they do not buy organic. Mom, I asked Dad a year ago. He said yes. Things change. Your sister is hurting. And I am not? Pause. I heard her take a breath. The measured kind. The kind she uses before she says something she has already decided is reasonable. You have Marcus. Vanessa has no one right now. I almost laughed. Almost. Because the math of it was so perfectly Donna. Vanessa's pain outweighed mine because Vanessa's pain always outweighed mine, not because it was larger, because it was hers. Stop making drama, Darcy. This is not the hill. I hung up, walked out to the porch, sat on the top step. The October air was cold enough to see my breath but not cold enough to go inside. I held my phone in both hands and stared at the garden I had planted when I moved into this house 4 years ago. Hydrangeas along the fence, lavender by the walkway, a dogwood I put in the first spring that was now taller than me. Marcus found me 20 minutes later. No tears, just sitting. Holding the phone like it was something I was not sure I wanted to keep. He sat down next to me. Did not ask what happened, did not say, I told you so. Just put his arm around my shoulder and waited. After a while, I stood up, walked through the workshop, stopped at the oak bookshelf Frank built me, Ran my fingers along the inside panel, found the carved letters, DI, traced them twice. Then I went to bed. Wednesday morning, 2 days before the wedding. Marcus made eggs, scrambled the way I like them, with chives from the windowsill pot he keeps alive for me because I somehow managed to overwater indoor plants while running a professional landscaping business. He set the plate down, sat across from me, waited. My dad is not walking me. I heard you on the phone. He poured coffee. What do you want to do? Not, I will fix this. Not, let me call them. Just, what do you want to do? That is Marcus. He does not rescue. He stands next to you and hands you the thing you need. I do not want to walk alone. Then you will not. He took a sip, set the mug down, looked at me the way he looks at a structural plan. Calm, focused, already 3 steps ahead. Dad has been practicing his tie knot since the engagement. I watched him YouTube it twice last Sunday. I smiled. First one in 12 hours. I cannot ask Frank to do that. It is too much. Darce, that man built you a bookshelf he did not have to build. He drives 40 minutes to your shop on Saturdays to fix hinges you did not ask him to fix. He set a place for you at Sunday dinner 2 months after we started dating and has not removed it since. I stared at my eggs. He has been waiting, Marcus said. He just did not want to overstep. The thought of it made something crack open in my chest. Not pain, something warmer. The realization that the person I needed had been there for 3 years, sanding wood in his garage, calling me kiddo, showing up for every single thing my own father had skipped. Okay, I said. I will ask him today. Jeanette called an hour later. My best friend. Maid of honor. The kind of woman who tells you your hair looks terrible before a date and then fixes it in 90 seconds. She had run into Vanessa at the salon in Darien that morning. Same colorist, apparently. Small towns have long arms. Your sister was there, Jeanette said. And she was not subtle. What did she say? She was telling the colorist about your wedding, how stressful it is, how it is making everything about Darcy again. I closed my eyes. Again? Her word. She said, and I am quoting, Darcy always gets the attention now. Ever since she started that garden business, it is like the rest of us do not exist. I almost dropped the phone. Darcy always gets the attention. Me. The one who won a science fair to an empty chair. The one whose graduation dinner became a Columbia acceptance party. The one whose career was publicly labeled not real by her own mother. She also said, and I wish I were making this up, her little garden business is not even real work. There it was. The same sentence, Donna's words in Vanessa's mouth. Passed down like a family recipe nobody asked for. Jeanette's voice softened. She is not upset about the wedding, Darce. She is jealous. You have Marcus. You have your business. You have a life that does not need her to validate it, and she cannot stand it. I sat with that for a minute. Jeanette is right about most things, and she was right about this. Vanessa did not want my dad to walk me because it would hurt her. She wanted him to stay home because my happiness was something she could not control, and controlling the aisle walk was the closest she could get. I should tell you about Thanksgiving. Last November, Vanessa hosted because Donna insisted. Your sister has the bigger dining room. This was technically true. It was also beside the point. Preston sat at the head of the table in a shirt that probably cost what I charge for a full garden install. He checked his phone 11 times during the meal. I counted because I was seated directly across from him, and there was nothing else to look at while Donna talked about Vanessa's kitchen renovation. Vanessa was loud that night. Not the normal, loud. The loud where you are trying to fill a room so nobody hears the silence underneath. She laughed at things that were not funny. She refilled glasses that were still half full. She touched Preston's arm twice, and he did not react either time. Then Lily said it. She was 5. She had mashed potatoes on her chin, and she said it the way 5-year-olds say everything, clearly and without knowing what it means. Why does Daddy sleep in the office? The table went quiet. Preston looked up from his phone. Vanessa's face did something I had never seen before. It folded. Not anger. Not embarrassment. Something underneath both of those. My dad cleared his throat and asked Owen if he wanted more bread, but I saw Vanessa's hands. They shook when she poured the wine. Small tremor. 2 seconds. Then she straightened up, smiled, and passed the cranberry sauce like nothing had happened. I understood something that night. Vanessa's marriage was not going through a rough patch. It was going through the floor, and instead of dealing with it, she was rearranging the furniture on top of the cracks. My wedding was just the latest piece of furniture she needed to move. Wednesday morning, 2 days before the wedding. I drove to Frank's house. He lives on a dead-end road off Route 9 in a town called Chester. The house is brown shingled, single story, with a porch he rebuilt in 2019 and a garage that smells like linseed oil and cedar. The radio in his workshop plays classic rock at a volume that suggests he believes Led Zeppelin should be experienced as a background presence in all human activities. He was sanding a rocking chair when I pulled in. Teak. Beautiful grain. He was in his work apron, the one with sawdust permanently embedded in the fabric like a second texture. I stood at the garage door for a full 10 seconds before he looked up. "Hey, kiddo." He blew dust off the armrest. "Coffee is on inside." "Frank." He must have heard something in my voice because he set the sandpaper down immediately, turned to face me, wiped his hands on the apron. My dad backed out of walking me down the aisle. He did not say, "I am sorry." He did not ask why. He did not shake his head or offer an opinion about my father or my family or the situation. He just looked at me with those steady gray eyes, the same eyes Marcus has, and said 5 words. "When do you need me?" That is the sentence. That is the whole thing. No hesitation. No, "Are you sure?" No, "Let me think about it." The man was sanding a chair, and the next breath he took was offering to walk me into my future like it was already on his calendar. Saturday, 1 o'clock. I will be there at noon. He picked up the sandpaper, started sanding again, then, quieter. "Kiddo, I have been waiting for someone to ask." I cried in the car on the way home, first time all week. The next 48 hours moved like a current. Jeanette handled logistics with the calm efficiency of someone who has planned 3 baby showers and once organized a surprise birthday party during a blizzard. She updated the seating chart. The father of the bride's seat at the head table was reassigned. Front row, center aisle, now labeled Frank Delaney, the seat my dad was supposed to fill. Marcus took his dad's suit shopping Thursday after work. Frank had a sport coat from 2011 that he swore still fit. Marcus sent me a photo from the fitting room. Frank in a new charcoal suit, looking simultaneously proud and uncomfortable, his rough hands sticking out of the pressed cuffs like they did not belong to the same outfit. Marcus texted underneath the photo. He asked me 3 times if the tie was straight. I wrote my vows that evening in the workshop. The oak bookshelf was to my left, Frank's initials project to my right, a cutting board he had started for our wedding gift and thought I did not know about. I wrote by hand on the back of a landscape sketch, crossed out lines, rewrote them, settled on something simple. My parents did not call Wednesday, did not call Thursday, did not text. I checked my phone twice Thursday night and then put it in the kitchen drawer. Marcus noticed. He did not say anything. He just made tea and left a mug on my nightstand. I did not tell my parents about Frank. They assumed I would walk alone. Let them assume. The doors would open Saturday and the answer would be standing right next to me. Thursday afternoon, 2 days before the wedding. I was reorganizing the centerpieces in the workshop when there was a knock at the front door. Ruth Kellerman, 68 years old, silver hair, always pulled back. She lived 3 houses down from my parents and had been my grandmother Eleanor's closest friend for 40 years. When Eleanor died 11 years ago, Ruth was the one who sat with her at the end. She was also the one who told me about Donna calling my career gardening behind my back. Ruth stood on my porch holding a yellowed envelope. "Your grandmother asked me to give you this," she said, the week before she passed. "She told me to hold it until you were getting married." Ruth's eyes were damp. "I have been carrying it for 11 years, Darcy. I was beginning to think it would outlast me." The envelope was soft at the edges. My grandmother's handwriting on the front. Just my name. Darcy. I opened it at the kitchen table. Ruth sat across from me and did not speak. The letter was short, 12 sentences. Eleanor had always been efficient with words. "Darcy, when you read this, you are about to walk into the most important room of your life. I wish I could be there. I wish I could tell your mother to sit down and let you shine. I wish I could tell your father to look up from whatever is distracting him and see you, but I know how that family works. So let me say what they will not. You have always been the one who builds. From that greenhouse to whatever you are building now, you make things grow where nothing was. Do not wait for them to see it. The people who show up are your real family. I love you. Build something beautiful." I read it 3 times, folded it carefully, placed it in the clutch bag I would carry on Saturday. Family is who shows up. Thursday night passed without a call. Friday the same. No text. No voicemail. No last-minute change of heart from Richard or Donna. Friday evening was the rehearsal dinner. Frank drove 40 minutes from Chester. He arrived 20 minutes early and helped the caterer move tables because he saw them struggling and could not watch someone carry a folding table incorrectly. 30 guests, all from Marcus's side. My college roommate, Alexis, 2 women from the greenhouse workshop group I run on Saturday mornings for local moms. Ruth. Jeanette, of course, and nobody from my family. The barn venue looked beautiful. Open sides, string lights, wildflower arrangements I had designed and grown myself. Lavender and Queen Anne's lace and late-season dahlias in copper vases I found at an estate sale in Litchfield. Frank stood up for the toast. He held his glass the way he holds a chisel. Firmly, like he means it. I am not a man of many words. Ask Marcus. He will confirm. Light laughter. But I will say this. 3 years ago, a woman showed up at my son's job site and hauled a root ball out of a truck like it owed her money. I liked her immediately. He paused, looked at me. I never got a daughter. God just made me wait a little longer. The room went quiet. Jeanette pressed a napkin to her eyes. Marcus put his hand on my knee under the table. Frank raised his glass. To Darcy, who makes things grow. I looked at his wrist. Sawdust. Just a trace, caught in the fold of his cuff. He had come straight from the workshop. He always came straight from the workshop. That was Friday. Saturday was the wedding. That same Friday evening, 40 minutes south, my father sat in his garage. I did not know this at the time. Jeanette told me weeks later. She had a friend in Ridgewood who saw Richard at the gas station near his house, and they exchanged a few words. The friend said he looked like a man carrying something too heavy to put down and too painful to hold. He sat in the garage where he used to park his sedan, on a folding chair, looking at the wall. There was a photo on the pegboard. Me at 12, holding a tomato from the greenhouse, grinning like I had invented sunlight. He had hung that photo years ago and apparently never taken it down, even though the greenhouse was gone. Donna made him dismantle it when I left for college. It is an eyesore, Richard. Donna came out to the garage at 9. Are we going tomorrow? Richard looked at her. I think we should. Fine, but we sit in the back. I am not going to let Darcy turn this into some kind of statement. Richard nodded. He opened his phone, typed a message to me. I am proud of you, Darcy. He stared at the screen for a long time. Read it back. Then deleted every word, locked the phone, and went inside. I did not know about the message until much later, but I think about it sometimes. Not with sadness, more with a kind of tired understanding. My father is not a cruel man. He is a weak one, and weakness, when it sits in the same house as control, becomes cruelty by default. He went to bed without sending anything. Friday evening, 9:45. My phone buzzed. Vanessa. I heard you are not walking alone. Who is walking you? I looked at the screen. Put the phone face down. Did not reply. 11 minutes later, Jeanette forwarded me a screenshot. Vanessa had texted her. Do you know who is walking Darcy tomorrow? She will not answer me. Jeanette's response was a single period. Nothing else. I loved her for that. Vanessa called my dad next. I know because Richard texted Marcus, not me, Marcus, at 10:15. Marcus showed me the message. Vanessa is upset. She thinks Darcy is bringing someone to walk her to embarrass us. Maybe we should not go. Marcus typed a response and then deleted it. Typed another one. Deleted that too. Then he set the phone down and looked at me. Your dad just asked if we are trying to embarrass them. At my own wedding. That is what he said. I took a breath. Held it. Let it go. Donna called Richard back. I found this out later from Ruth, who had contacts I will never fully understand. Donna told Richard they were going. I will not give her the satisfaction of saying we were not there. Classic Donna. Attendance as a strategic position, not an act of love. Then Vanessa's final text of the night. To my dad. Forwarded later by the same Ruth network. If you are going, then I am coming too. So that was the setup. Saturday morning, a wedding, 200 guests, a carpenter in a charcoal suit, and 3 uninvited spectators in the back row who still thought the day was about them.